He dined with Ronaldo,
It's the man.
sprinkled gold on steaks for Leonardo DiCaprio, and was praised by Diddy like a brother.
Congratulations to my brother Salt Bae. Yeah!
In just a few short years, Salt Bae, real name Nusret Gökçe, rose from a humble Turkish butcher to one of the most recognizable faces on the internet. With a single viral elbow sprinkle, he built a golden empire. He wasn't just serving meat. He was feeding celebrities, politicians, millionaires, and influencers who lined up to be hand-fed like royalty. From David Beckham to Conor McGregor, everyone wanted a piece of Salt Bae's flashy world. His restaurant stretched across the globe. His Instagram racked up millions of followers, and his name became a luxury brand. This is the rise and sudden collapse of Salt Bae, and why it matters. Before the gold stakes, celebrity shoutouts, and viral memes, Nusret Gökçe was just a young boy from a struggling family in Turkey. Born in 1983 in the town of Erzurum, he grew up in a modest home with limited opportunities. His father was a miner, and money was tight. At just 13 years old, Nusret had to leave school and begin working as a butcher's apprentice to support his family. It was in those early, gritty years, slicing meat and scrubbing counters, that he discovered his love for the craft. He spent long hours in Turkish meat shops, learning how to carve, season, and perfect every cut. Not because it was glamorous, but because it was survival. His work ethic was intense, and his dream was simple: to become a great chef. Little did he know, a single slow-motion sprinkle of salt, captured in a short video years later, would turn his life upside down. That 2017 clip didn't just show off his cooking skills, it introduced the world to Salt Bae, the suave, sunglasses-wearing showman with a signature move. Almost overnight, he became an internet legend. But behind the sudden fame was a man who had been grinding for decades, driven by hunger, both literal and figurative, to escape poverty and build something huge. And for a while, it looked like he had done exactly that. From butcher boy to internet king, Salt Bae's story was the kind people loved to cheer for, until it all began to unravel. Once Salt Bae became a household name, he started attracting some major celebrity attention. People weren't just going to his restaurants for the food, they were going for the experience. His steakhouses became hotspots for athletes, musicians, actors, and influencers.
Let's go.
Stars like Leonardo DiCaprio,
I wake up to a little bit
David
of drool
Beckham,
on my pillow,
and
feel
DJ
like it's
Celeb
gonna be a bad
all
day.
made appearances at his
I'm
restaurants,
tired of shit,
often
and the
captured
coffee ain't
viral
hit yet.
videos
Damn,
of
ain't
Salt
that
Bae
great.
behind his signature
I don't wanna
sauce
go to
and
work, cause my
lemon.
boss is a jerk, and I'm
It was
not
as
even
much a
that
show
paid.
as it was
I
a
need a
meal.
change in my life, cause I
Even
don't
soccer
feel alive, and there's
superstar
nothing that makes me
Cristiano
happy.
Ronaldo visited
Hold my
and
beer
was
for a
served
minute.
directly
I'm about
by
to quit
Salt
my
Bae.
job, cash in for a
Celebrities
ticket.
love
I'm
being
going
part
on a
of the
trip,
trend.
and I don't
And
plan to
Salt Bae
visit.
used
I'm gonna
every
stay there till I
opportunity
feel
to
like
share
I'm
his
winning
love
all.
to social media.
And this is just the beginning.
Every
I need a
handshake,
big change,
photo,
help me
or
feel
framed
like living.
video
I need a
was
big
another
swing,
way to
home
boost
runs
his
I'm
brand.
hitting, and I'll never look
His
back. Moving
Instagram
on till I
following
get it all.
exploded, and soon he
all
was
got
opening restaurants in cities like New York, London, Dubai,
But
and
what you gonna
Miami.
do for it? How you gonna
His
move for it?
steakhouses
What you
weren't
gonna
just places to
be?
eat, they were
And do you
experiences.
believe
Sometimes
you
it
can
cost
do anything?
thousands of dollars for a single meal.
What you gonna do for it? How you
Gold-covered
gonna move for
tomahawk
it? What you
steak,
gonna be?
that would be $1,800. People weren't just paying for steak, they were paying to say they had dined with Salt Bae. The buzz was real, and his image as a celebrity chef kept growing. For a while it seemed like he could do no wrong. But not everyone was impressed with Salt Bae's rise to fame. As more influencers and celebrities started dining with him, criticism also began to grow.
And this is my
Many
game
people
to
began
play, to
questioning
claim
whether
a
the food
brand new
actually
name.
lived up to the hype. In London, for example, Salt Bae's restaurant received terrible reviews. Customers complained that the food was bland, overpriced, and not worth the hype. A single Red Bull cost $10, a burger was $100, and service was often described as cold and unprofessional. On TripAdvisor, his London steakhouse scored just 2.9 out of 5 stars. One reviewer called it the biggest scam ever. Another said, the food was undercooked and tasted awful. Critics argued that people were paying for an Instagram moment, not a great meal. Even his New York burger joint was called the worst restaurant in the city by some critics. These reviews started to tarnish his brand. It turned out that flashy presentations and viral videos couldn't always cover up poor food quality and bad service. Slowly, cracks began to form in Salt Bae's golden empire, and while he still had his loyal fans and social media followers, the public was starting to see past the sparkle. More people were questioning if Salt Bae was more style than substance. Salt Bae's growing ego didn't help either. He began acting less like a chef and more like a celebrity. His Instagram feed was full of shirtless poses, expensive watches, and over-the-top displays of wealth. He often shared receipts from customers who had spent over $100,000 on a single meal, as if it were a trophy. In interviews, he claimed that kids wanted to grow up to be like him. "Now everybody wants to be a butcher because of me," he said. But as his fame grew, his humility seemed to shrink. Things got worse when he started interfering in global events. In 2022, after Argentina won the FIFA World Cup, Salt Bae somehow made his way onto the pitch. He grabbed Lionel Messi for a selfie, interrupted players' celebrations, and even held the World Cup trophy himself. Fans were furious. Many saw it as a shameless attempt to steal the spotlight. FIFA launched an investigation and eventually banned him from all future events. It was one of the biggest public embarrassments of his career. People began to see him not as a lovable meme, but as a fame-hungry figure who didn't know when to step back. The backlash was massive, and his image took a major hit, but the controversies didn't stop there. Back in 2018, a fire stunt at one of his restaurants went horribly wrong. A flame shot out of control during a performance, injuring several people. One woman suffered third-degree burns over 35% of her body. The incident made headlines around the world, but Salt Bae didn't apologize or even acknowledge the accident publicly. Instead, he continued posting videos of himself living his luxury lifestyle. That same year, he served Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro a lavish meal while the country was suffering a severe food crisis. Videos of the dinner went viral and sparked global outrage. Protesters in Miami and New York gathered outside his restaurants. Even US senators spoke out. Marco Rubio tweeted, "I don't know who this weirdo Salt Bae is, but the guy he is so proud to host is not the president of Venezuela. He is a dictator." These incidents chipped away at his image even more. They showed a man who seemed disconnected from the real world, focused only on fame and money. The public was no longer cheering him on, they were calling him out, and slowly but surely, Salt Bae's once shiny reputation was beginning to fade. Things took another dark turn in 2023 when Business Insider published a deep investigation into Salt Bae's business practices. The article revealed serious allegations of mistreatment and abuse toward his restaurant staff. Former employees described working for Salt Bae as a nightmare. They talked about being fired without warning, forced to fake lines outside the restaurant to make it look busy, and even sleeping overnight in the building during COVID-19 lockdowns, all without extra pay. Some employees said tips were stolen or withheld by management, especially during celebrity visits. One young worker had $800 in tips, taken away just because a customer left without paying. Others were punished for minor mistakes, like delivering food to the wrong table. Women working in his restaurants reported facing harassment and unfair treatment. One female server claimed she was denied a promotion because Salt Bae didn't think she was attractive enough. Another was told to wear revealing clothes on her first day. When she complained, she was fired. These reports painted a picture of a toxic work environment built around fear and control. It was clear that behind the gold-covered steaks and viral videos, there was a darker side to Salt Bae's empire. As more scandals piled up, Salt Bae's restaurants began to struggle. In the United States, several of his locations quietly shut down due to poor performance. His London restaurant, once a hotspot for wealthy tourists and influencers, reported a 50% drop in profits. Even his Dubai location, which used to be one of the most successful, started losing its appeal. Reviews kept getting worse. Social media buzz died down. Customers were no longer excited about spending thousands for flashy meals that didn't live up to the price tag. Meanwhile, his personal brand was also taking a hit. His follower count on Instagram started dropping and engagement on his posts plummeted. Even his over-the-top lifestyle no longer impressed people. Instead, it annoyed them. What once made him a fun and quirky internet star had now turned into cringe. His attempts to stay relevant, like crashing high-profile events or showing off luxury cars, only backfired. In 2025, he was even kicked out of the UEFA Champions League after-party for trying to enter uninvited. He stood outside, signing autographs and claiming he was there for his fans, but the damage was done. The world had moved on. The most painful part of Salt Bae's downfall might be how preventable it was. He had all the ingredients for long-term success: a great origin story, a unique style, and a massive platform. He could have become a respected figure in the culinary world, maybe even a mentor or ambassador for young chefs. But instead of focusing on quality, respect, and humility, he chased fame and fortune at all costs. He burned bridges with customers, employees, and even fans. He became a symbol of everything wrong with influencer culture. All flash, no substance. Now, his empire is crumbling. His restaurants are failing. His image is ruined. And the internet, once his biggest supporter, barely talks about him anymore. Salt Bae had it all, but his ego and greed brought him down. It's a cautionary tale for anyone chasing quick fame. What goes viral can also vanish overnight. In the end, Salt Bae didn't just lose a business or his fame, he lost the trust and respect of the very people who made him famous, and in today's world, that might be the hardest thing to get back.